everybody, welcome to Paint Night Live. Tonight, Kira and Jesse, we are here tonight to show you how to paint Adorably Abstract. So this is a really fun, exciting painting. And the thing about tonight is we are using a folk art multi-surface set, which comes with 16 different colors. So the great thing about the set is that you could do this painting in a bunch of different color palettes, different colorways, and Jesse's gonna show you that. And you can also use folk art multi-surface on terracotta, wood, ceramic, canvas, fabric. There's a lot of great surfaces that you can use this on. So we'll talk more about the paint as we get started. If you were just tuning in, this is Let's Paint Live, where we teach you to paint a painting from start to finish in just about an hour. So Jesse's gonna walk you through this awesome painting, Adorably Abstract, and we'll check back in with you all out in Facebook land that is watching us right now. And if you are watching live, click the link below and you can purchase this folk art multi-surface kit. It's 16 awesome colors of folk art multi-surface paint. It's got a wide range of colors, and we're gonna show you a couple different ways and color palettes to do this painting. And again, you can use the multi-surface on so many different surfaces. And stay tuned throughout the live viewing. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them below because we can answer them live. And also, we're going to give you a sneak peek of our brand new Let's Paint program that we're launching. So we're gonna show you an awesome commercial at the end of this. And also, we're going to reveal April's paint night painting. So it's really pretty and it'll get you in the mood for spring, I think, with all the cold weather we've been having. So, all right, well, Jesse's gonna get us started on Adorably Abstract.
Okay. All right, so first I'm gonna show you some of the different color palettes you can use. And these are all using that 16 color set that you can buy online. So here's a couple. This one you can see it's more of a, we have white, black, and I believe this is dove gray, and we've got a beautiful gold that we sort of added. This metallic doesn't come in the pack, but we added it just for a little pop. And this one here you can see we've got some white, this beautiful patina, and some, I think this one's called wisteria, and this hot pink. So you can kind of just get an idea of all of the different beautiful, different color palettes that you can use using this one kit. Okay. So the colors that I'm going to be using specifically tonight are right here. We've got our wicker white, light lavender, our patina. This one is our lime green, and then, like I said, I've got a gold just for an extra pop for our painting tonight. So when you're choosing your color palette, you want to keep in mind, I know this is sort of, elementary school stuff, you want to keep in mind your complementary colors. So I would almost say that you don't need to be thinking about this when you're picking your color palette. You can sort of pick what colors you think are beautiful together, what colors you think match your decor. But when we're painting, you want to make sure that all of these colors that are complementary to each other, you don't put them next to each other on your canvas while it's wet, because that's going to get muddy and brown. So that's really it. So whatever colors you like, I would choose between 3 and 4 colors, maybe have a white in there or a black in there, and just make sure that you don't have these colors together. And I can pull this back out later just to remind you guys as we're painting. So some of the tools that we're gonna be using tonight, we're gonna be using mostly recycled materials, which I think is really cool. I've got some corrugated cardboard here. You can see I've already used these. I've got some bubble wrap, just some stuff that come in your packaging when you order stuff online. And then I've got just an old gift card from my wallet. You can use an old credit card, just something with this hard straight edge that you can use to drag paint. I'm going to be using one of our spouncers, and I'm just using this to apply paint to these surfaces. And then I've also got some stencil tape we're gonna be using at the end to do a really cool design. So just to help you in prepping, I know you probably got your corrugated cardboard and you're like, okay, well, there's no, it's not corrugated, how do I do this? So here's a little trick. You just want to pull it apart, pull one of the sides off. I've already got mine prepared, but just kind of show you. If you have some sandpaper, I know, see, it kind of wants to stick, and you're like, how do I get it all off? You can grab just some regular sandpaper at home and sort of sand this extra fuzziness off, and that's something, just a little trick you can do at home. But you can also just peel it with your fingers, just so, to make it easier to get that nice, smooth, corrugated cardboard like we have here. So
And that's just from a box, right?
And that's just from a box, yeah. This is probably from something that we ordered online, and they cut up the box and we cut up the bubble wrap, and we're gonna make a really, really cool painting out of it.
And Jesse, before you get started, I just want to show everybody again what we are painting tonight. So if you were just tuning in, this is Let's Paint Live, and we're painting Adorably Abstract tonight, and we're using folk art multi-surface. And these colors come in a 16 color kit, and if you click the link below, you can purchase it so you can paint this anytime, and also a number of other great paintings and projects that you can find on plaidonline.com. And Jesse's gonna show you this colorway tonight. So you've got this patina, the purple, the white, and the lime green. But you can also do it in so many different colorways. So you can pick and choose your colors. And what's so great is that this kit, it's 16 different colors and they all work so well together. So if you're just tuning in, we're getting ready to play Adorably Abstract.
Okay, so like we said, this is a little different from other paint nights because it's a little looser, and you kind of can design your own specific painting tonight. It's not going to look like anybody else's like ours normally would. You know, they would all look pretty similar. So that's kind of what makes it fun, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You can kind of choose your design. I'm going to help you with some tips and tricks and walk you through ways to make a beautiful design using, you know, elements of design and things like that. But nothing crazy. It'll be really fun. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I kind of want to get like a nice backdrop for some of my textured areas. You can see I have these like beautiful textures that I created here, but I also have kind of this nice background behind it. So I'm gonna show you how I achieve that. I'm gonna start by picking one of my colors. I'm going to do small sort of globs, for lack of a better word, sort of piles of paint, drops of paint, if you will, right at the top here. And you can watch me first. I'm gonna start with my white. It's gonna be kind of random. Just a tiny, tiny little amount there. You don't want to do too much because we don't want to waste any paint. We want just enough. Oops, this one's brand new. I'm gonna do some patina here. I might make this glob a little longer. It might be easy if you kind of watch what I'm doing and then follow along, just so you get an idea. If you're not really sure what this is about or what I'm about to do here, you might just wanna let me finish first. I'm just sort of lining them up, and I'm keeping in mind, you know what, I almost made a mistake there. I was gonna put my green next to my purple, but those are complementary colors, so I'm gonna avoid putting those next to each other. I'm gonna take my lime green, I'm gonna put it next to my patina, because if those blend, we'll just get kind of a nice aqua color. We won't get that muddy gray or brown. So I'm gonna fill up my canvas just right at the top, just lines at the top. And if you're kind of running out of space and you are finding that some of your complementary colors end up being next to each other, you can just put a glob of white between them and sort of separate them. That will help in this. Just sort of, thinking as I go, trying to decide what I think will be pretty next to each other, what would look nice. And again, I'm not using a lot of paint because I don't want to waste any paint. I want to have just enough so that's going to cover my canvas nice and evenly. We don't want to have to waste any. So I'm getting full here. You can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just picking what I think. I'm doing some longer ones because we're gonna drag it down. I'm doing some shorter ones. Just a little bit. Okay, so I think I have kind of enough there. So I'm gonna stop. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my gift card, and I'm gonna start on the left side. I'm going to gently, I don't wanna scrape too hard, but I wanna put some pressure. I'm gonna go ahead and drag my gift card down my canvas, and look how cool that is. And this is kind of what I was talking about. I don't want to have to waste a ton of paint here, so that's why you want to make sure in the beginning that you're not putting too large of a glob of paint, because we don't want to waste our beautiful paints. And I'm just going to continue this down, go nice and slow so you can get that cool, beautiful striped effect. Look how awesome that is. And again, I probably even put a little too much paint because I hate to waste it. So you just want enough just so that it'll have like an even coat across your canvas. And I'm just gonna keep on dragging this down. Look how beautiful that is. And this is just using an old gift card or an old credit card that you have at home. This is nothing fancy. This is not a fancy tool. This is just using our beautiful paints and recycled materials.
And Jessie, while you're doing that, can you explain the what colors to use next to each other and how to create that beautiful color palette?
Definitely.
Because the kit comes with 16 colors, and they're all so beautiful, but it is tricky sometimes when you get all those colors.
Yeah.
Here we are, there's the camera. Can you, show us exactly like what you would recommend and the complementary colors that you should use together? Because I think that's a big piece of this painting.
Right.
I don't know, Will, if you can see
it
that.
gets sort of muddy, sort of quick.
Right, and like Jessie said, that she did a couple different color variations, and this all came out of the same kit. But if you could, maybe just explain like the best way to do this if you're just starting out or colors can be intimidating.
I'll start off by kind of letting you know what I did for each of these. Are we with Will or are we overhead? Okay. So this one you can see, I started with some like pastels. Patina is one of my favorites just in all of the folk art colors, so I immediately was drawn to that just because I like it. So I picked the pastel, I picked the wisteria, that kind of goes nice together, another sort of pastel color, and then I wanted something bright to sort of like brighten those up and make them a little more exciting, so I threw in that hot pink, and then I thought white would be good just as a contrast to all of those colors. So that's sort of how this color palette worked. I'll show you kind of what my thoughts were, and then I'll show you how I use them. This one was just all blues. We have these beautiful blues in this particular kit. We've got this really nice dove gray. So I was keeping these. I also had in mind this one I could be a little more loose because there's no complementary colors in here. You know, if the blues mix together, it's not a big deal. If the blacks and grays mix with them, like it's not, you know, it's not going to get muddy or anything like that because they're all very similar.
That's a really great tip. Like pick all blues or all greens or all pinks or purples, and then you can add your black, white, or your Papa metallic.
Definitely.
To mix with it. So that's a good way if you're, you know, and this is so fun and easy also that you could do a couple of them. Like we did a whole set here.
We did.
And you know, you could practice on paper, even on the extra cardboard that you have till you feel comfortable with the color palette or even with the tools.
And we can practice with a little of the tools too. See this one, the one that I'm kind of using tonight, the color palette, that's a little more challenging because the reason it's challenging is because we have that purple and the green together. And just to remind you guys, you know, on our little handy dandy color wheel, the purple and the green are across from each other. So if those hit each other, they're gonna turn gray and brown, and that's not really what we want tonight. So of course, because they're sort of in the similar families, you can kind of see, you want them to be next to each other. That's when you're kind of golden. That's when the colors are not gonna turn muddy and brown. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great tip for any kind of painting that you're doing or any kind of project, how to use those colors with each other so they work together.
Right, and the colors, when they're across from each other, are really beautiful because they pop against each other, just as long as you don't use them together wet. You can put them on top of each other when they're dry, you know, and they don't blend, but that's really the key, not to put these colors next to each other while they are wet. Okay?
Okay, well thank you. I just sorry to interrupt the fun painting.
I'm glad you asked.
I just think that's a really like interesting part of this Let's Paint too, is that you're learning. So even if you've never picked up a paintbrush or a gift card or a piece of cardboard,
no paintbrushes tonight.
You know, or you're an expert, it's always good information to have and you know to try different things. So it's a really fun thing. So I'll let you get back to it.
Okay, so the first sort of, after we've used our gift card, you know, it's still wet here, but that's okay. We're just gonna do sort of a stamping thing here. I'm gonna be using my corrugated cardboard. So I'm gonna use my spouncer, just this really nice black felt art spouncer. This is one of my very favorite tools that we have. It's really nice and dense. It's awesome for making large polka dots. It's awesome for, you know, doing sponge painting, but it's, you know, really great just even for applying paint to a stamp or something like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get some of this patina onto my spouncer, and I'm going to apply it. You could use a brush to apply the paint to your cardboard if you wanted to, but it would be hard to prevent it from getting into the grooves in between the corrugated material. So that's why I like using the spouncer. It sort of just hits the surface, just like a ink would do on a stamp. So I'm just applying my paint here. And if you want to do a practice one, you're kind of like, oh, how is this going to go? Like, how am I going to stamp this neatly onto my canvas? If you feel a little intimidated, you can go ahead and maybe do a practice one on your napkin. So I'm going to do that now and just kind of get the feel for it. Can you guys see a little? There we go. Get the feel for how it's going to look. And you just want to pull it up really gently and evenly. And look how cool that is. That's cool sort of striped texture. It looks sort of almost like zebra stripes or something. I really like it a lot. And it's so easy to get those clean lines. So I'm going to grab a clean one just so it doesn't get sort of tacky. And I'm going to continue that and then I'm going to put it right onto my canvas. So I'm just going to apply my paint to my tool. And I really love just using tools that you find around the house. You know, a lot of people do like the food stamping with celery or with potatoes at home. But I mean, these are just things that everybody, I think, has around their house. And, you know, if not, are super inexpensive. And it's really nice to be able to recycle these materials. I'm gonna put a little more paint on there, just so I get a nice, thick, clean imprint when I go to put it onto my canvas. Another thing too that I didn't mention actually is the size of the canvas. The size and shape of the canvas for this project really does not matter. It's really just your preference. If you have a spot on the wall that needs a certain size canvas, go ahead and buy that canvas because you can use any shape or size for this project, which is cool.
You could even base coat your canvas or buy a black canvas.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Black canvas would be awesome.
Paint on top of it, do the same technique.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Okay, so now while it's wet, I'm gonna try to decide, you know, just where I want to start with. This is the first, you know, stamp that we're gonna do with one of these recycled tools. So I think I'm gonna kind of start on the edge, I'm gonna play it safe a little. I'm gonna start down here in the left corner and I'm gonna press it down really gently. I'm gonna give it a nice, I'm gonna spread it out a little, make sure that all of the different parts of the cardboard are touching the canvas. And then I'm going to gently and evenly peel it back up. And look how cool that looks. It's just perfect lines right there. You don't have to use a liner brush, you don't have to draw lines ahead of time. The cardboard just does it for you, which I think is really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and use more patina for this one.
And while you are loading, I just want to, you know, say hi to everybody that is watching. We've got Nicole, loves the colors. I love them too. They're very springy, especially that patina.
I love it.
Annie, Jasmine, Wendy, Michelle, Kathy, Trish. I'm not going to get everybody. Annie, Jillian. So hi everybody. Carl's watching.
Hey everyone. Hey Carl.
So thanks for tuning in to Paint Night Live, where we are painting Adorably Abstract tonight with Jessie, and we're doing this is a painting we've never done for Paint Night.
Something really different.
Yeah, an abstract and using a bunch of recycled materials. So we're having fun tonight.
Yeah, we are. We're having lots of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead, now that I've got my patina, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna keep using the cardboard, but I'm gonna switch. I think I'm gonna start maybe doing some of this lime green. This is one of the colors that I've chosen for my color palette tonight. Just gonna squirt out a little, and you can clean off your sponsor. Just for time, I'm gonna head and grab a new one real quick. And again, you can reuse these pieces of cardboard over and over and over again. You can see this one here is one that I've been using a lot. But since my paint's wet, I might grab a fresh one. Or I might actually just use this little one, which I like too. Once you've used these, you can kind of stick them in your craft box or stick them away in your storage, wherever you keep your craft supplies, and you can reuse them later for another abstract painting. So I'm just applying this here. And so now I'm gonna apply this green. So I've kind of got this blue pattern going on down here in the left. And this is something you want to make sure you achieve in your painting is balance. So since I've kind of got a lot going down here in the bottom left, I think I'm gonna try to put something up here in the top right just to keep my painting really balanced. So I'm gonna go this way now. Just pressing down gently. Then you want to pull up really gently, and it creates really cool green there. Another trick you can do with this corrugated cardboard is once you've got your sort of imprint down, your stamped effect down, you can apply again, and then on the same spot go in the opposite direction. So I've got them going vertically here. I'm going to do it going horizontal, and you get a really cool grid effect. And this is something really cool. I've done this with picture frames or even with fabric. You can do an all over grid pattern, which is really, really fun. And it's so easy to make it using this corrugated cardboard. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show this color wheel again, just to remind people as they're going, as we're kind of layering colors. If you've got something in the blue family and you've got something in the orange family, you wanna avoid putting them together. Purple and yellow families, you want to keep them apart, and then of course green and red families, we want to keep those apart as well. So while it's wet, we want to make sure that we're avoiding blending those colors together.
And we don't want to blend those because they get muddy.
Exactly.
Correct? So you're not going to get these, you know, these colors are all very vibrant, so if you just mush them together according to that color wheel, they're going to get kind of muddy. So to keep this folk art multi-surface, we want to keep it really bright and these colors to stand out. It's great for that color wheel to reference that.
Definitely.
While you're painting. And then like you mentioned, another great way to do it is to pick a, you know, basically like blues or greens, pick a more like
tonal colors,
yes,
sort of
tonal,
monotone.
thank you. And then you can just add black or white or a pop of metallic. So this is kind of a really safer way to do it.
Yeah. And
also with your decor, this is a great way to do it.
It is. And like I said, these complementary colors look great together, like we're showing you in this painting, but it does throw a little bit of a wrench into the painting.
Yeah, and it's just fun. It's abstract, so this is really fun. Like, and instead of this like very structured painting, you know, just have fun with it. That is the most important thing, I think, of our whole Let's Paint program.
Yeah.
Is that it's fun, you know, just not our paint night, but our whole paint program. Like, we're teaching you these things, but have fun and try, and, you know, don't be scared to do it. Like we said, you know, get a piece of paper out and practice these techniques, and then you can also do the painting once you're done and you feel comfortable. So
right, yeah, totally. If you don't have to start directly on a canvas. If you're feeling a little intimidated, do it on a big piece of poster board, do it on a big piece of drawing paper or Bristol board, so you can kind of decide which one you like best.
yeah, and it's so easy.
So I'm gonna keep on
And
using this.
Trish is asking what brush we're using.
Well, Trish, we are not actually using any brushes tonight, which is kind of fun and kind of funky for us here at Plaid, because of course we use brushes for everything because we make so much paint. But no, we are not using a brush tonight. We are using our Folk Art Dauber here, this black one, and we are just using that to apply paint to our recycled materials. We've got our corrugated cardboard. We're going to be using some bubble wrap in just a moment. And then we've also got this, we already used this recycled gift card. So no brushes tonight.
Just a spouncer.
Just
Dauber.
a spouncer, yep. Dauber, spouncer, and everything.
Yeah, and while you're loading that, Will, can we see? We have an audience here tonight. Everybody is painting along with us for our Let's Paint, so we can see what everybody's doing. And again, like I mentioned, you can pick your own color palette and really personalize this. So, you know, you can see we've got yellows and blues, we've got corals and aquas, we've got corals and pinks. Christina, we've got grays. We got that beautiful patina, and all of these colors come in the Folk Art Multi-Surface Kit. So if you click the link below, you can purchase the 16 color paint kit. So it is a multi-surface paint, so you can use it not only on canvases, but on glass, on terracotta, on styrofoam,
Fabric.
on wood, paper mache. So many different things you could do. So you could actually do these techniques on a bunch of different surfaces, which is really awesome. So I love that we can show that we have a room full of people all doing the same technique, but by picking these different color palettes, you get all different paintings, which is really fun. And I love to see like what everybody comes up with, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
and
I'm
again,
excited.
doing a gallery wall with this, like you said, maybe you have a spot and you don't know what to put there. Like, do an abstract painting that matches your decor or matches a pillow that you have.
Yeah,
Like, that's a
or
great
do it on
way-
a pillow. That'd be really cool.
That would be really
on
neat to do on a
fabric.
pillow, yeah. So you could use our multi-surface paint. You could also use our Fabric Creations on a pillow.
Definitely.
But that is a really great idea to do this on a pillow. That'd be really cool.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
would love to see that if you guys end up doing that at home.
Yeah, and if you guys are tuning in live, like I said, you can click the link below to purchase the Folk Art Multi-Surface Kit, but you can also watch this again on our on-demand at our YouTube channel, Plaid Crafts. So you can check out this Paint Night Live and all our other Paint Night Lives. So we have a ton of different paintings. If you're not into abstract or you want to see more, you're really into this, we've got floral, fruit, landscapes, you name it is on there. So check out our YouTube channel. And also, I'm going to make you guys do one more thing. When you are painting, hashtag your painting and post it with Let's Paint, because we want to see what you're creating with our paint. Like, we're so interested to see and inspired by what you create. So don't forget to hashtag Let's Paint all your projects so we can like them and share them also.
Yes, we're excited to see them. Okay, so you can see, guys, now I've kind of got, I'm gonna straighten my canvas out for you. There you go. I've kind of got some of my, line patterns down here. So I'm gonna move on to my bubble wrap, which is one of my favorite ones, because you can see in some of our other paintings, it makes this awesome polka dot sort of effect. Okay, so here's just some plain bubble wrap. I just snipped it into smaller pieces, and I'm gonna use the same thing that I've been doing. I'm gonna go ahead and use my daubers to apply paint to this recycled item. So I'm just gonna apply this. You just wanna make sure, you're tapping it gently, because you just wanna get it right on the surface of the bubbles. And sometimes I think it's kind of cool when you're doing this, one of the bubbles is kind of deflated, and so it makes it like one bubble is missing, and I think it looks kind of cool when you put it on your canvas. So I'm gonna decide, I've got, lots of my patterns going on here. I've got a little in the top right. I don't really have much going on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some polka dots in this area. And this one especially, you want to just pat it down very gently. You don't want it to end up smearing, because that's going to ruin that really beautiful, crisp bubble polka dot pattern that we're going to get with this bubble wrap. I'm gonna just peel it up. And look how cool that is. I hope you can see it on these colors right here. It's all a little bit light, but the polka dot is just really crisp and beautiful. And this is just using bubble wrap, something you probably have at home. You probably have it in a cupboard somewhere, or you might have just gotten a package in the mail that has this, and you would normally throw this plastic piece away, but you don't have to. You can keep it for your crafting. I'm gonna put some down here because I just have purple and white. That's why I'm gonna add some blue because I think it'll show up really nicely on those colors. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing some of this patina. I just love this patina color. I went through a phase here at Plaid when I was crafting, and I used patina in all of my projects, and I kind of had to tone it down because I needed to use some of our other really beautiful colors. I was just obsessed with it. But here I am, back on the patina. And again, I'm just patting this down really gently. You don't want it to smear because that's gonna ruin some of the beautiful, crisp pattern that we're gonna get from this simple piece of bubble wrap.
And it's all about layering.
It's all about layering. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Kira. It's all about layering. You know, there's a lot of fancy terms you can use when designing a painting and designing a piece of art. You know, you can talk about the dominance and the hierarchy, but really you just want to make sure that you have colors that look nice together. You have a nice, even composition, just whatever looks really beautiful to you. You can see I have some gaps in here, but you want to leave up some places for your eye to rest, so those don't bother me as much. So I'm going to keep using my bubble wrap. I'm going to get a fresh piece as I'm going to put some purple, some of this beautiful lavender color. And the cool thing about this painting is it can be kind of a quicker painting, especially at home if you've chosen to use a smaller canvas, so you can do a bunch of them. If you have that kit, you have 16 colors. You can do you know, a few of the same color palette and make sort of a gallery wall, or you can do a bunch of different ones. It's really just endless.
Yeah, so, well, I don't know if you can get these. So this is, like Jesse's mentioning, you can do a collection of them. So this is just using black, white, gray, and then we added a pop of gold. And how beautiful would this be? Like you said, you can just do as many as you want, and maybe you do a bunch of them and you're like, oh, this one works, this one doesn't.
Right, pick your favorite.
Or you can go back and layer, like you said, like, oh, I want to add to this when I'm done. Or,
yeah.
you know, I want to, you know, add a pop of another color once you get like your black, white, and gray even. I think that's a great way to look at it also. Like, I feel very comfortable using this color palette, but maybe I want to add a pop of orange or a
at the
pop
end
of
when
pink.
it's dry, so you don't have to worry about it mixing.
Yeah. So this is just a really fun way to do it. And like I said, using this Folk Art multi-surface kit, you can do so many different color palette options and combinations. So again, we're doing Adorably Abstract, and we've got our really pretty bright colors for spring. We've got this patina, we have our purple, our lime green, our white, and then our gold. And this keeps falling out of the frame, but I did want no. So magic. I did want to talk about this frame because this was just a frame that was upcycled. So you could buy a new frame, but this was an old frame that we just painted with the multi-surface paint. And
to match our painting.
Jesse painted. Jesse painted. And you just use painter's tape to tape this off.
I actually used our folk art stencil tape, and I just, you know, made these cute little lines, and I painted, you know, a piece of it in this beautiful patina that I keep talking about that I'm obsessed with. And then I used the gold that we use, and that kind of brings out the pop of gold that we use in the painting too, which I think is really pretty.
Right, so you could upcycle all your frames.
Oh, absolutely.
You could do mix and match.
Yes, or go to the thrift store and find a frame for a couple bucks, you know, dust it off and give it a beautiful new paint job.
Yeah, I love that. And again, the multi-surface would work if your frame is plastic or wood or metal. Like, it's all gonna work on there and not chip. And
you don't
it's
have
really
to prime
smooth.
it or anything, which is really nice.
Right, and you get one coat coverage on it.
Yes, because normally you would have to sand it, you have to worry about what kind of finish it's got on it, but now with the multi-surface paint, you just paint right on top of it. As long as it's clean.
And these crisp, clean lines that you got.
Yes.
So again, just a way to complete your project. So
yeah.
Really pretty. Okay, get back to Adorably Abstract.
Yeah. So we're using our bubble wrap still. I'm still using this beautiful lavender. I'm just gonna put some more on my painting, so, like I said before, just to kind of balance out my composition, balance out my colors a little. I'm gonna go ahead, I think it'll be pretty right there because this purple will pop on the patina there. So I'm gonna put some of my little bubble wrap texture there. And this is creating sort of a visible texture using this bubble wrap. Of course, once it's on, it's not gonna be textured to feel, but you can see it kind of gives the illusion of texture. We're just patting down gently so we don't smear it, and then we're gonna pull it up very carefully. And I've got this tiny piece of bubble wrap. I'm gonna go ahead and put another little stamp of it right below. I'm trying not to shake the table too much. I'm gonna put another one below it to kind of look like it's got this dramatic big area of patterning, even though I just have these two little pieces. I'm gonna kind of line it up, but if it's not lined up, I don't really care that much. It'll still be beautiful. Okay, so you can see we've kind of got, this is kind of going on, it's really beautiful. I'm gonna show you the last sort of
Technique.
Thank you, technique, I couldn't think of the word, that we're gonna use for this painting. And that is going to be using our stencil tape. Mine's a little dirty because it's from my desk. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna give our painting like sort of just a minute or two to dry, and we are going to start breaking off just, you know, maybe 2-inch pieces of the stencil tape. If you got scissors handy, it'll be easy to use scissors. But if not, you can sort of grab your gift card and, you know, tear it. Let me find a place where y'all can see it in the camera. Sort of tear it here. You see what I'm doing? On a straight edge. And that'll give you a nice clean piece. Can you kind of see what I did there?
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, this is if you don't have scissors around and you want a nice clean piece of tape. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. Try to maneuver it. You just want to put it like that and then use that straight edge to tear it, and that'll give you a nice clean piece. But I'm going to use scissors since I have some sitting right here. And you want to just cut several pieces of this. I'm going to probably cut out maybe 10 depending on how much time I've got. I'm just going to stick them to the side for now because we're going to be using these on our painting in just a moment. But like I said, we're just going to give these a couple seconds to dry. So what we're doing here with the tape, we're going to be creating this really cool pattern. Let me find one here. We're going to be creating this really cool sort of brick or grid pattern in the our paintings, and we're going to do it with gold as well to make sort of a pop. And this is a really cool effect. I've seen people do it where they do it all over their entire painting, which is really neat. But we're going to use, you can see where the tape was acting as sort of a mask, and we're going to paint between it to create this awesome grid pattern. So we're just cutting pieces of tape. I've got my stencil tape here right now. This is just our folk art stencil tape, and I've got some scissors. I'm just cutting off a few pieces while our painting is drying, just so that, you know, it's okay to be layering our stamp tools and all of our found objects on top of the painting, but we don't really want to put tape on it while it's wet because that's just going to peel our wet paint up, and we don't want that. So we're going to let it dry a little first. If you have a hair dryer at home, you can feel free to, you know, go grab that and hit it with a hair dryer. That will certainly help, but we're just going to let ours air dry because we've got to cut the tape anyway. So I just showed this trick for those of you who didn't see. If you don't have scissors, you can use your gift card that you've probably got, and you can sort of create a straight edge and tear it that way, and that'll give you a really clean line. My tape's kind of stiff, but you can just put your tape out here and then press the card down on it. Can you get that? And then pull it up and you get sort of a straight line there. And that's just a little trick if you don't have scissors handy and you want to have a straight edge on your tape. If you're doing something like this where you want a nice perfect rectangle, that's just sort of a way to do that. Nice little trick, since we already have our recycled gift cards and credit cards out. So I'm just cutting my tape. I've got a lot here, so I might stop. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding this to my canvas. All right, I'm trying to see where I'm driest so I can show you guys this effect really nicely. I'm gonna start down here. So I'm gonna start at the edge, and I'm gonna start applying tape. I'm gonna go over the edge there. These are pieces that I don't want. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. These are not touching. I left a little bit of space between them. I've got some paint from my other bubble wrap stuck on there. My old bubble wrap. And we're just going in sort of a grid pattern. So I've got 3 here, and now just like you would see bricks, if you guys have ever seen, you know, not if you've ever seen, I'm sure you've seen bricks, how they're sort of stacked like this. You know, there's one stacked between 2, if that makes sense. Here's 1, and then 2 on top, 1, almost like hopscotch. You want them to sort of be not like a grid, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
You wanted them to be offset a
Offset,
little bit.
thank you. That is the word I'm looking for.
This is a fun game tonight.
Kira can speak for me. You want your pieces of tape to be offset from the ones on the bottom. So we're gonna line them up just like a brick pattern. leaving space between them, as you can see. Want to line them up, and I'm putting mine on the bottom left because I want to have sort of a dramatic gold effect down here, but you could have yours in the center. If you have, you know, less going on in one corner of your painting, you can have it sort of coming in. It can start from the center and go out. It depends on how you've been painting your painting so far. You can decide, because tonight the painting is your own design, which I think is so fun and I love it. I can't wait to see everyone's. Usually it's our design and you follow along, but tonight it is your design. So I'm just putting my pieces of tape that I cut. And look, they're not perfect. That's okay. I don't care that they're not perfect. That doesn't bother me at all. They're just, I'm applying them to my canvas, and they're gonna be offset, sort of like hopscotch or like a brick pattern. And I'm just gonna apply a few. I don't wanna put a ton because I kinda like when it's less coming in. But I might put some coming from the, actually no, we'll leave it like this. I'm gonna fix this one. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I've got this beautiful multi-surface gold paint. This is bright gold. And I'm going to apply some of this to a spouncer, just like I was doing before. Let me move some of my stuff out of the way. Thanks, Kira. My palette's getting pretty full. Okay, so I'm gonna apply some of this to my spouncer. Just a little bit. And the cool thing about the spouncer is it comes in a pack of 3 different sizes, so I have a sort of a smaller one for this. I'm gonna apply it to my spouncer, and I want it to get kind of dry. I don't want it to be like dripping with paint because that's gonna make it bleed. You wanna make sure you can use your fingernail, or you can even use your gift card, and make sure that those edges are pressed down tight. We want a nice seal on it so the paint doesn't bleed under. We wanna make sure everything is pressed, all the edges are pressed down. And we're going to apply the paint in between these pieces of tape.
So when you use the spouncer, do you dry brush or offload it? Is that a technique?
I do.
Okay, so maybe just tell everybody like how that's a really good tip if you've never used a spouncer or slash dauber. I think we call it both here.
You want to see this well what I'm doing here? It's a little messy, but I'm gonna grab some paint and then I do offload it. I'm glad Kira mentioned that because it's sort of second nature to me. I offload it because I don't want a ton of paint on there, because if there's too much paint, it's gonna bleed under the tape. We just want to add little bits at a time. We want to sort of layer it up until it's opaque, so that way we ensure that it's not going to bleed under our tape. Because we don't want that after we've made this beautiful design. We want it to be sort of as crisp as we can get it. I'm just applying it. I'm not going past this tape here because this is sort of where I want my grid to end. You can see how I did it here. I just am sort of stopping at that area. But I'm applying it. I want a nice even layer of this beautiful gold. It's gonna be a really nice pop against these bright pastels that we have in our palette. Sorry if I'm shaking the table a little with all this bouncing. Thank you. So I'm just applying it in between where the tape is. And like I said before, you want to kind of build it up. Sorry, Will. You want to go slowly in layers. And that is how, like I said before, if you do it all in one fell swoop and you just apply a ton of paint on there at once and just have a nice thick layer, there's a chance that it could bleed under your tape, and we just really don't want that for this project. So we're gonna go as lightly as we can, still painting in just about an hour. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry just for a little minute. And I'm gonna do something sort of cool to the end. Remember when we took our gift card at the beginning and we did that really cool effect where we did the smearing? I'm gonna add like sort of a dramatic swipe of color. Cause look, we've got this beautiful gold down here and it makes the rest of it kind of look boring now that we've got this bright gold. So I'm gonna show you sort of at the end. I'm gonna put the glob of my gold here, and I'm gonna take my gift card and I'm going to do the same thing we did before, and I'm going to lightly smear it, and look how cool that is. It sort of gives like an iridescent, isn't that pretty? Sort of an iridescent effect to the top right, and it sort of balances these two spaces. Okay, so I'm gonna apply a little more gold to my bottom right. And you can do as many of these as you like. If you feel like maybe I need some purple, top down at the bottom, use your gift card and go back and create that effect now. So now I'm gonna peel these up gently. You can let them dry full if you want, but just for time's sake, I'm gonna pull off these pieces of tape, and this is gonna reveal a really cool pattern underneath, or in between, I should say, where we've placed this tape. If you have like a pencil or even an X-Acto blade to peel this up, or use your fingernail just so you don't smear it if it's still wet like mine is. It's a little bit messy, but that's okay. We're gonna peel it up and reveal this beautiful brick grid pattern and texture that we've created. I'm gonna use my pencil to get the edge just so I can get that up. This is kind of a messy painting because we're using so many different tools, but look how cool that is. Can you see how that's creating that really cool pattern right there? I just think that's so neat, and it's so simple to do. Just if you've got a little bit of stencil tape or painter's tape at home, you can achieve this really quickly and really easily. And you can do this any color. You don't have to do a metallic. I just really like the way the metallic added like a bright, bold, dramatic effect sort of at the end, sort of something for your eye to focus on. But you can use, any one of your colors in your palette. I could have done this maybe like a navy could have been pretty with all these bright pastel colors. Something dark that would really stand out against these colors. I chose metallic as my way of making it stand out, but you can use any of the colors that you have in your kit at home. Look how cool that is. Okay, so just like my other one, I think I'm gonna add, we haven't really used any of our white paint yet. I have white in my palette. I'm gonna add a smear of white to sort of balance this out, just because I think it'll look cool there. I've got my metallic grid on the bottom, I got my swipe of metallic on top. I'm gonna do one more swipe. Okay. Look how cool and beautiful and opaque that is. Doesn't that look kind of neat? And you can keep playing around with this. You can keep using these tools. You can keep layering it with all this stuff. But I think I'm kind of finished. I really like the way my painting looks now, and I think I'm gonna leave it there.
I love it, and I love that it is so different than our Adorably abstract, but it goes with, so see how you couldn't coordinate?
Yeah.
So you could create a whole collection, like a gallery wall of these. And like you mentioned, doing on a pillow.
That'd be really
It's
fun.
multi-surface paint, so you can use it on so many different surfaces. Wood,
Clothing,
tin,
really cool, or with our fabric creations.
Yeah, and I love all the techniques. Who would have thought bubble wrap, cardboard, a gift card? Like, it's such a fun way to do.
And we love to recycle too.
Yes. Yeah, it's really fun and interesting and abstract. So, yeah, thank you. We hope you all enjoyed checking out Adorably Abstract. So don't leave us just yet. We are going to show you April's paint night. So on April 4th, we are going to be partnering with Project Studio, who they are a local company that we work with, and they actually have a stencil line through us, which you can see here. This Be Still is their folk art stencils that they have with us. They've designed them. They do a ton of amazing, beautiful projects. And this is what we're gonna be painting on April 4th. And we're gonna be at their studio live. So it's gonna be really fun. And this is just so beautiful, getting me in the mood for spring. We're calling it Hello Spring, because I think we are already across, no matter where you're watching from. So again, tune in April 4th. This is what we're going to be painting. So the event listing is going to be live right after this. So you can check it out and get all your supplies and be ready in the next month. It'll be here before you know it. And thank you for watching us. I just want to say that, we had fun teaching you Adorably Abstract. Don't forget to hashtag your painting, Let's Paint, and to check out this video of our Adorably Abstract and rest of our on-demand library of Let's Paint Lives on our Plaid Crafts YouTube channel. You can also check out more inspiration on plaidonline.com. And we are going to show you a sneak peek of our Let's Paint program with the amazing Donna Dewberry. So we've got big things coming this year in 2019. I think I mentioned it last month when we were here, how exciting that our Let's Paint program is. We want to connect with you, we want to teach you, we want you to have fun, we want you to learn to paint. So let's paint, and we are going to show you right after we say goodbye a
Stay
sneak
tuned.
preview of our Let's Paint Live program, Flowers of the Month with Donna Dewberry. So thanks everybody for watching and joining us. We'll see you next month.
Hi, I'm Donna Dewberry. I'm the original creator of the one-stroke painting technique. I'm thrilled to be here at Plat Enterprises and their new painting studio. We are here to launch a new Learn to Paint program, doing the folk art one-stroke with Flowers of the Month. So come join me and we're gonna have lots of fun.